Namaskaram. Let us begin with our Python-MySQL connectivity programs from our practical file. Program to create a table employee with the following structure. empno integer int primary key, name varchar 15, dpt varchar 15, salary int. Display the structure of the table after creation. To work with Python-MySQL connectivity program, first you have to import mysql.connector. This mysql.connector is not a built-in module, so you have to install mysql.connector before starting the program. Next step is creating a connection object. Function to create the connection object is connect. This connect function is in mysql.connector, so you have to give mysql.connector.connect. Otherwise, you can give an alias name for this mysql.connector, mysql.connector as SQL connection, SQL con. Then you can give this SQL con here instead of mysql.connector. That is, wherever you need this mysql.connector, you can use SQL con. So the function connect creates a connection to the MySQL server and returns a MySQL connection object. Here the connection object is stored in mycon. Then about the arguments of this connect function. Host equal to localhost, user equal to root, password. These are the values we give when we install MySQL. If no password is assigned, you can give empty string here. Otherwise, you have to specify the password what you gave when you installed. Then this argument database. This is the database in which we are going to create our table. So before creating the table, you have to create the database. Here the name of the database is HR. So the name of the database you are using, you have to give here. Okay. The next step is creating a cursor object. The cursor object helps us to execute SQL queries. Here the method cursor is used to create a cursor object. That is, this cursor method returns a cursor object. That cursor object is assigned in mycur. Just like mycon, this is also a variable, mycur. You can give any meaningful name. So how to create a cursor object? Connection object dot cursor method. Which is our cursor object now? Mycur. Then this cursor object interact with the MySQL server using MySQL connection object. Here mycon is our connection object and mycur is our cursor. Cursor object connected to connection object connected to MySQL and our database. Okay. Next step is executing the query. The function to execute the SQL query is execute. Cursor object dot execute. Then as the argument, you have to give your SQL query within quotes. You can use both single quotes and double quotes. Here my query is create table employee, then empno, that is my field name, then data type int, constraint primary key. Then if you want to write the remaining portion in next line, you can use this slash. Then this will treat it as a single string. So next field name, data type varchar 15 size, next one dpt varchar 15 again, then salary integer. Okay. So this statement will create a table in database HR. Then we have one more section in our question. Display the structure of the table after creation. The query used to display the structure of the table is DESC. DESC table name. Here the table name is employee. DESC employee. Then to execute this query, you have to use execute function. So again mycur.execute DESC employee. The rows or records returned by this execute function is assigned in mycur object in the form of result set. Result set means it is a logical set of records that are fetched from the database when we execute the SQL query. This mycur object is an iterable object, so you can use a for loop to traverse through the result set. For row in mycur. Mycur is my cursor object, then row is the loop variable. So in first iteration of the for loop, the first row will be stored in the variable row, print it. Then in second iteration, second row from the result set, and so on. Then at last, close the connection object. myCon.close. Execute the program. Table is created and the structure of the table. Program number 18. Program to insert 5 records into the table employee with the following structure. The table employee with this structure we have created now. In this program we are going to insert 5 records into that table. Then after insertion, display the table content. Okay, this much of portion same as in our last program. Import MySQL.connector, then create the connection object, create the cursor object. Then we have to call the execute function to execute the queries. Here the question is insertion. So the query is insert into employee values. Then you have to specify the values according to this structure. Similarly, insert other records also. Total 5 records. Then after insertion, connection object dot commit. This commit function is used to save the changes permanently in our database. Here you have inserted 5 records into the table. So to reflect these changes, that is this insertion permanently in your database, you have to call commit function. So connection object dot commit. See here it is connection object, not the cursor object. Connection object dot commit. Insertion is over. The next step is display the table content. The query used for displaying table content is select star. Select star from employee table name. So give myCur.execute, then select star from employee. Then the records are returned by this execute function is now in myCur object. So traverse through the myCur object, then display the records. At last, close the connection object. Okay, let me execute the program. 5 records inserted and displayed. Next question, program number 19. Program to display the details of employees in ascending order of their salary. This much of portion same as in our last programs. Changes only in this query. myCur.execute, then the query. Here the query is select star from employee order by salary. This order by clause is used to arrange the records in ascending order. The result of this select query is now in myCur object as a result set. Then iterate through the cursor and display the records. Just like what we have done in select star from employee. Then close the connection object. Clear? Execute the program. Table content is displayed in the ascending order of salary. Next question. Program to display the details of employees whose salary is between 35,000 and 50,000. Both values included. This much of portion same as in our last programs. Then execute the query. Query is select star from employee where salary between 35,000 and 50,000. And the result set returned by this execute function is iterated using the cursor object. Execute. Display the details of employees whose salary is between 35,000 and 50,000. Then our last program to increment the salary of all the employees by 2,000. Display the table content after updating. This much same. Then execute the update query. Update employee set salary equal to salary plus 2,000. Increment the salary by 2,000. After updation, you have to call the commit function. So after insertion, updation and deletion, you have to call commit function for permanent saving. Then just a print statement, record updated. To view the table content, execute the query, select star from employee and display. Then close the connection object. Execute. Record updated. Salary is incremented by 2,000. Here you can see 35,000 changed to 37,000. 40,000 changed to 42,000. Then 50,000 changed to 52,000. Similarly, all other records. Okay, we have completed all the 22 programs in our practical file.